Whoever you are, wherever you are, no matter what you're doing, just be inspired. This is the Uninspired Inspiration.
Um,
Are you nervous to talk about anything?
Not really. I'm not really nervous.
You know where it's gonna go. Like, you know where it has to go.
Yeah, I feel like, and any conversation that we have, at least solo,
Mm.
like, will eventually lead to that. So I guess I'm prepared for any conversations that
It's
we need to have.
therapy.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
therapy. This is a mental health check. This is a mental health show. This is episode 1 of the Uninspired Inspiration. And I'm with a very special guest, my oldest son, Christopher. Well, George Christopher, I call him Christopher. And it's only right that I start this journey off with him because, if I'm really being honest, he's my closest and oldest relative. I guess if that makes sense. Like he knows what that means, and we'll get to all of that. But if I'm starting something new, then I want to start at the beginning. And he's a big part of the beginning for me with a lot of things. So Christopher, what's up, man? Appreciate you joining me. You're the first brave soul to get the ball rolling. 2022. How you doing, man?
I'm good. Being the first one kind of makes me feel like, like the first man on the moon. Like it's just like such a big step forward. So it feels pretty good. It's a new year, 2022. Trying to make some good changes, big changes. And just move forward. Just do things this year that I've wanted to do. So.
Well, I gotta put you on the spot then. Like what? What's one
Uh,
thing that you? I already know one thing that I
Yeah,
might
yeah,
have to
yeah,
get at you
yeah.
about a little bit because I haven't seen no movement in that direction.
Uh,
But I want to hear what you gotta say
um,
first.
Big focus is getting my license, being able to drive. I feel like that will be like the biggest step I take this year for myself, just because being able to drive, I can get a new job because the
Mm.
job I have now, it's nothing wrong with it, but I need more. I don't mind the people I work with. Like it's nothing wrong with the job. I need more. Like I feel like I should be making more money, and I'm staying there because it's convenient, and I don't just want to sit there because it's close to the house or anything. So when I can drive, I can find a better job, make more money, and it'll open up a lot for me. In terms of opportunities and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
nice. I like that. I like that. Ideally, if you could pick, what would this new job be?
I kind of like warehouse like work. Like it keeps me busy. I don't feel like I'm just sitting around doing nothing. I know I go in and it's always something for me to do. I kind of like warehouse work. Like the only reason that I would leave like the warehouse job I have now is too small of a team. Like we need more people because we have to do everything, and it ends up being we're doing more than our actual job, and that's not what I want to do. Like if I'm gonna be doing more, I want to make more for what I do, and I don't feel like that's the case. So if I could get a better paying warehouse job, I would be more than happy with that because I'm good at what I do and I know what I do.
Mm.
So if I go somewhere else, I have a forklift license already. I have qualifications that can get me into a better paying warehouse job. I want to stick with what I know and keep making more money.
See, you're kind of a blue collar type of guy. You saying you like manual
Yes.
stuff. You wanna
Yes.
go in with your hands.
Exactly.
I can dig it, but on the parenting side, I have to say don't limit yourself to just wanting to be a warehouse worker. If that's what you want to do now, you're still young, your responsibilities are limited, then okay, everything is a step, but aim as high as you can, though, because you're capable, and you're very smart. You pick up things really quickly, I've been to your job and everybody speaks highly of you, and the energy always seems like it's on point with you being a good worker and a good co-worker. So you're moving in the right direction, and hopefully 2022 brings you all of the things that you want and more. Just keep pushing and keep working for it, and don't limit yourself to where you're at now and what you think you want to do now, because next year it might be something different. 2 years from now it might be something different. Maybe it's an office instead of a warehouse. Maybe it's, you never know. Keep your mind open, keep your options open, but as long as you're pushing for something, then I'm behind you, 100%. So I got to get at you real quick before we really get into the episode. Before the new year came in, we were talking, and you were on this fake health kick or whatever. Like, I want to start going to the supermarket and getting groceries and not eating from 7-Eleven and not doing this and not doing that. And I put out a little test for you, and I asked you, well, when you want to go to the supermarket. It was the weekend. That was when you really have time. That was me saying, all right, if you want to go, let's roll. I'll take you there. It's not far. It's not out of the way. And your response was, I don't really know when I want to go yet. So that let me know that you kind of hit me with the gaffle a little bit. You was just talking, but it's still early in the year. I'm giving you a little bit of time before you really lock in. But what's going on with that?
I'm easing into it. I'm trying to work up to just being able to do it, because you can't just go cold turkey when it comes to cutting back on sweets and sugary drinks and everything like that. You kind of gotta, it's like an addiction almost,
Okay.
like you kind of gotta break it, and then you could settle into like the healthier lifestyle, as we'll call it.
Yeah, so. But you don't have anything.
Nah.
It's
because I already stopped eating as many sweets as I did before. I kind of been sticking to mostly water, or if I'm at work, I'll have a cup of tea or something like that, And then the whole not eating meat thing, that was a little more challenging for me. I'm not sure how I'm gonna work with that one yet, but I've started cutting back on like the stuff that I was really heavy into, so that I can really like lock into what I wanted it to be.
Yeah, but maybe your goal is too extreme out the gate. To cut out all of these things, to go from eating sweets to no sweets, and soda to no soda, and meat to no meat, and it's all in one. Maybe just tackle it piece by piece. Maybe it's no soda first, or it's no sweets first, and it's still meat, but it's like chicken, no beef, or stuff like that. You're not gonna be able to just wipe everything out all at once. It's going to be too difficult. So maybe break it up in pieces, but I do think you should go to the supermarket, get a few things, and start from there.
Yeah, I've tried to kind of, because when I had the goal originally, it was a little broad. It was kind of just, I wanted to do so much, and I just wanted to, as soon as the year starts, cut everything out. It's not really realistic. So I've kind of been thinking of it more like, I'll slow down and kind of get used to not having it so much, so that I can truly like really cut back on it.
Yeah.
And then when that's good and I'm comfortable with that, then I can, cut back on something else, get used to that. Like what you said, basically, like, handle it in pieces, not just kind of cut everything off at one time. So
yeah, I've been on a caffeine detox.
Really?
I guess if that's the term. Yeah, I've been like saying that I'm going to ease off the caffeine, because, caffeine really, it's just an illusion.
Okay.
I wake up and sometimes I'm not feeling so good. I'm feeling drained or whatever. And once you have that cup of coffee, you're ready to go. I'm going to the gym. I'm working out hard. And that's not really me. That's not the real energy that I have. So I've been sticking to it. It's been tough, though. I'm not gonna front. Like the last few days have been pretty rough for me, but today I actually feel okay. I made it to the gym. I worked out. I didn't have any caffeine, so we'll see what tomorrow brings. It's a one day
Yeah, yeah.
at a time thing.
I mean, still though, like if you've been sticking with it and actually maintaining it, then that's still progress though. Like, and if you feel all right today, then it must be working or something must be going right for it. So it steps in the right direction for it.
Yeah, slow and steady.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Slow and steady. But all right, now that we got the formalities out of the way, the idle chit chat, I want to get into the mental health part of it, because I think that our relationship is a unique one. It's not one that you hear about a lot. And for us to get to this point of now, 21 years later, where we're sitting here having this conversation, you've never really talked about certain things. You've never really expressed certain things. And I'm not saying that now is the time or this is the platform, but this is what the show is about. Like I said, it's a mental health check. And you represent a side of dealing with a certain type of loss, but still functioning and going through a certain type of struggle, but coming up out of that struggle and being able to maintain and keep a certain amount of sanity. And I'm proud of you for that. So to give a little bit of backstory, like I said, Christopher is my oldest son. He's been with me from maybe age 6 or 7. I've raised him. My sister has helped me. She's played a big part. And his mother has stepped away from us and the motherly role from that age till now. And growing up without a mother is something that I feel like me and him share, because I never got to know mine. She passed away when I was really young, around the same age as when his left. So we kind of share some similarities in our growth that we don't even know. He got to experience his a little bit. I never really got to experience mine, but it's still a loss, and it's still something that we both have to deal with to this day, and we had to grow up with. And I've watched him grow up with that burden or that pain, or however you want to put it. And it's been a long journey, but it's a journey that we've taken together. So I just want to know, how's it been for you? I jumped right into it, I know, because I wanna put you on the hot seat. This is what this show is gonna be about. So if you're out there and you watching and you want to come on, because I'm gonna be reaching out to people and inviting you on this show, it's a mental health check. It's not to break you down, but it's to get you to open up a little bit, and hopefully we could share and we can grow and we can learn from each other.
Okay. It's kind of changed over time, honestly. Like, in the very beginning, it was just not an understanding. It was kind of just, obviously I was sad, but I was hurt. And then it kind of shifted into a pretty sizable part of me finding a way to blame myself for it. That's and that phase of it lasted the longest. And never mentioned it. It wasn't really something I brought up, but it was just there, like a nagging in the back of my mind, that even though there was no reason to think it, it was no like actual evidence to it. It was no like basis for it to be there. It was always a part of me that was like, maybe if I was, a better son, or maybe if I did something different, or just finding some way to make it about me, even though it wasn't like my fault. It wasn't anything I did or anything I did wrong. It was just, at that time, it was just something that was there in my head, and I couldn't get rid of it. It wasn't something I could, sit down and convince myself that it wasn't the fact. But I went through a decent part of my growing up feeling like it was in some way my fault, and it made me sad. It made me incredibly sad to just grow up feeling like my mother left because of me. And I never said anything to anyone. I never approached anyone about it. I never had a conversation about it. It was always just, it's my thing, and I wanted to handle it on my own. And that was kind of the mentality I developed with everything. Yeah, I know it's nothing wrong with asking for help, but I kind of grew into a person that didn't want to ask for help. And even now, when I struggle with something, I don't want to feel, not weak, but I don't want to feel like I can't handle it. So I try and handle everything on my own with my YouTube, my content, any questions people ask me. I'm so against asking people for help, and I guess it's because I don't want to burden people, and I don't want to feel like I'm bothering someone, and I don't want to be like, oh, I can't do this, and then they look at me different, and then it's like, what's wrong with you? And then they leave. So I kind of have this really heavy fear of abandonment, and then it just all rolls down into, I don't want to be alone. Dealing with that, even if I'll sit in my room all day, as long as everyone's around, and I know I'm not just there's a wall and I'm not just locked behind it, cut off from everyone, I'm fine. But the slightest change in tone, or a look, or anything just sets me off, and it's what did I do? Am I just gonna be shut away, or am I gonna be ignored, or something like that? And it's not a reason for it. It's not a genuine reason for it that I can come up with in my head. It's just something I always struggle with anyone, with friends. The smallest thing that I'll get really anxious about it, and I'll notice it, and it'll just drive me crazy. And I dealt with that for a while, and I didn't really know how to handle it, how to come to terms with it. But I did a lot of reading online about stuff like that, and how to not get over it, but how to handle it, a fear of being alone or being left behind or stuff like that. And I wasn't really appreciating myself. I was putting so much energy into keeping people around me and making people like me and want me around, that it was just okay, well, I'll be however they want me to be to keep them around. And I was burying myself. So it took a while. It took a pretty sizable amount of time to become comfortable with who I am, and the things I want to do, the way I speak, how I interact with people, the people I want around me, and everything like that. And pretty recently, I guess, I started moving past a fear of being alone, because the people I have around me, my friends, family, my girlfriend, everything like that, they make it very clear that the person that I am, that I show them that I am, they're perfectly fine with that, and that they accept how I am, the things that I deal with, the things I have dealt with, and they don't look at me any differently. They don't look at me what are you doing? It's kind of just the genuine love and support I get from the people around me help me a lot. So it was rough in the beginning. I do feel like I've turned out okay. I feel like I've kind of pulled it out here at the end, with growing into who I am, and kind of developing into the person that I see in my head whenever I think about it. So it wasn't all bad. I feel like it's definitely on a brighter path now. I don't think about it as much. I don't have that nagging feeling in my head anymore that everybody's just going to disappear one day. I think I'm in a more stable place mentally and emotionally from everything. So,
all right. I want to touch on a few of the things you said, but I also want to ask you, do you think that us not talking about it when it happened kind of confused the situation even more?
I feel like looking back, maybe just because it was like such a confusing thing in general for me that I just couldn't understand like at all. That the first thing I did was like the first thing that made sense in my head, even if it didn't make sense in the situation, was what I latched onto, and that's what just stuck with me.
That's fair. It was confusing for me too. You know, it was kind of like a time where the relationship was over. It was time to move on. I was already moving on, doing what I was doing what I wanted to do, and it was no real communication. You know, I found out from your auntie that she wasn't gonna be around anymore. And I waited for a little while. You know, I didn't wait for her to come back to me or to speak to me, but I waited to see if she would come back and have something to do with you. And that's why you stayed with your auntie for as long as you did before you actually came to be with me, because your auntie was always the middle. She was like the safe haven, to where it was like, okay, we don't even have to interact. You know, you can deal with him through her. And when it was clear that it was over, it was over. You know, it was like, okay, he's going to come with me and I'm going to do what I need to do. And I didn't, it never even crossed my mind, honestly, to sit you down and to explain to you what was going on. I kind of had hopes that you just being in a new environment and kind of being a part of a new situation would erase the old. But you can't just erase someone's biological parent. Like, that's just not reality. Whether it's good, bad, great, ugly, whatever the situation is, you that doesn't just go away. And I guess the fact that you never said anything to me, and me not really knowing how to deal with it or what to say to you, it was just like, don't ask, don't tell. You know, I never really had proper parenting, I'll say. Yeah, auntie raised me, and she tried, but that's a whole other episode. But as far as like nurturing and communication and care and love and certain things that a child needs to develop, that was absent for me in a lot of ways. So I didn't know how to give that to you. You know, all I knew was give you somewhere to stay, make sure you had clothes on your back, make sure you ate, make sure you were safe, and the rest was supposed to just happen, you know, just fall into place. I kind of expected you to be me in a sense, because I felt like even though, you know, I had people around me, I still raised myself in a lot of ways. I had to learn a lot of things on my own, and that's just not the right way for a child to have to grow up. So I kind of understood some of the stuff you were going through. And I think that's why I never turned my back on you. Because I knew even though you didn't talk to me about it, it had to be bothering you. I knew that it wasn't normal for a child's mother to just disappear and that child have no type of reaction to it, have no feelings to it, just be okay with it when you had a relationship with that parent. It's one thing if you never knew them and they just were gone, but when you had a certain type of relationship and that relationship is just gone, it has to create some sort of trauma. So I got it, but I didn't know how to handle it. That was the difference. I understood when you were acting out. I understood when you seemed like you were going down a certain path, but I didn't know how to deal with that. And a part of that was me dealing with my own trauma still, you know. And I think that made us closer, and it connected us in a lot of ways, because we both were dealing with similar things, you know, because it's like you're yearning for your mother to be in your life, and I'm yearning for my mother to be in my life to help me understand how to raise this child and to just be a mother to me. And we're both just missing. And a lot of times, instead of me paying more attention to you, I paid a lot of attention to me just trying to get by, and me hoping that whatever situation I was in would help you be in a better place. And that's one mistake I feel like I made throughout our journey, is I relied on somebody else to replace your mother, and then that person did damn near the same thing. It was like, oh, that relationship is over. And it kind of was like, well, damn, the time and the years that you spent never even happened. And I worried for a little bit. I worried that would affect you, and I was like, damn, how's he gonna respond to that? But you bounced back, and I think you bounced back because the situation that I'm in now, the marriage that I'm in now, and the woman that she is, and the role that she plays in your life, I feel like that's been a big part of your growth and your transformation, because it's a different type of love. It's a different type of attention and care that she represents for you. And it played a major part in my decision to really pursue the relationship, because I felt like you needed that. And I needed that. It provided a home and a really safe place for you to be able to be yourself, for you to be comfortable, for you to not feel like you're going to be abandoned, or you're going to be thrown away, or someone is going to turn your back on you. You know, I always try to, no matter what, throughout all the screaming and yelling and all of the other stuff. I'm not going to mention the other stuff, but you know.
Can't mention that on this right now.
Not nowadays. Nowadays, I'll be canceled and whatnot. But I always hope that you knew that I wouldn't leave you. You know, I wouldn't bounce for anything. And it was like, damn, dude, you really gonna test that, huh? You gonna
push you to the limits. I need to make
how
sure
much I could take. But hey, we made it. You made it. You're right. You know, you're an incredible young man. Well, you're a man, young man. I don't know what the term is when you're only 21, but you know, like, you're my guy, man. And it's been a really, really long road, and I'm glad that you found some sort of peace in yourself, and some sort of comfort, and just understanding that you can't control the outside. You can't control what's happening around you all the time and what other people choose to do. And it's a really heavy burden to be a child walking around blaming yourself for something that's so serious. But to stay the course, you know, to not give up is really impressive, and I'm really proud of you, and I'm really glad that you did that. I'm glad that you stuck with me too, because the same way I didn't give up on you, you didn't give up on me. You know, you never made it seem like I was such a terrible dad. We got by how we got by. And now that I think back on it, you know, you just wanted some love. You just wanted some love, man. You know, I remember it was times that Saturday mornings I used to come and take a nap in your room, and it was like when I didn't come, you would be like, "Yeah, I got the bed already. The bed is made. It's ready for you when you come in."
It was like it was a process. I would make sure to be up and ready, and I would get up. I would make the bed, and I would remember the way you laid every time. So I would have the pillow and everything. It would be ready, and then I would just wait, and I would see what would happen. So
yeah,
it was like a routine. For me.
Yeah, and it's crazy that at the time, you don't realize how something that might be so small and minor could mean so much. Something that is just like just laying down, just taking a nap, just you wanting my presence, and that's exactly what I mean when I say we share so much, because those same feelings of abandonment and worry of people like just not really checking for you or wanting you around or being so easy to walk away from you. I feel that. I've had those feelings. I still struggle with those feelings. And it's hard when it's your family that you're struggling with those feelings with, when it's people that's supposed to have unconditional love for you and always be there. And in the back of your mind, you're wondering if those people really love you as much as they say, or if you're not on top of your game all the time, are those people just gonna turn and walk away from you? It's like being on eggshells. It's hard to just be comfortable and be yourself, because you never know when it's gonna be over. You can't even enjoy the moment, because it's like, it's fun now, but tomorrow this might not be here. They might not be here. That love and them smiles might not be here. That's a heavy burden to bear. So, we got a lot in common, man. And I'm glad you shared. I'm glad you came on. I know you got to get to work, so we going to wrap it up. But I enjoyed it, and hopefully this is episode 1, but I think I'm gonna put a to be continued on it. Yeah, because
it's like a cliffhanger.
Yeah, we got a lot more to chop it up about, but you broke the ice and you came through. You came through strong, man. I appreciate you sharing and opening up. And honestly, this is the first time I've heard you say those things, so that means a lot to me. The mental health check worked. See?
Cool. I'm glad it all worked.
My man, the uninspired inspiration. I look forward to just moving forward with this. And I hope you guys look forward to seeing what I bring to the table, the guests that I have, the feelings that we share, and the breakthroughs that we experience, man. The uninspired inspiration. You heard? Peace.
Yo, choose to inspire, not destroy.